Mark, what did you like best about your team's approach from the very outset tonight and the way that you guys pretty much just handled business throughout the game?
Yeah, I thought we were sharp, both ends of the floor, especially in the first half, and then into the third. And I thought the guys down the stretch gave good effort. They were gassed, but I really was impressed with the way we went. You know, you can only control what you can, and I thought we played to our standard tonight. You don't want to form bad habits in a game where the score gets away from you like this, and we didn't do that. We got better tonight with the game, so the guys did a great job, really mature approach.
Myers? He had 40 paint points in the first half alone. I mean, Lopez and Giannis being, I guess, some of that, but still, that's really good.
Yeah, I thought, again, we played with pretty good intent in the first half of the game. You know, we really were sharp on both ends of the floor. We kind of played our game, played to our standards, built good habits, played together on both ends of the floor, and I thought that was a reflection of that.
I know they didn't have their main guys. It looked like they did some stuff at the top of the key, some screening and stuff that really kind of forced your defense to make some decisions.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing with their main guys being out, you know, I do think it's worth noting, like they're in Portland, then they travel to San Antonio on that trip. They go up, play home game against Memphis, and come back down here on a back-to-back. You know, I can understand why they sat those guys. I think it's still a byproduct of the in-season tournament. It condenses both sides of the schedule on the outside of that. You know, so tough game, but much different team, you know, without those guys. And they were much more movement-oriented and faster in the first half, and that's why I was impressed. I thought we really kind of calibrated to the game. We didn't know exactly what the game was going to feel like because they don't play with that crew very often. And I thought the guys, like, were in their pocket. We had good pursuits. We were in our spots. They executed really well.
Ous's box score was obviously loud today, but what did you see from him?
It's really less about today for me with Ous. It's more, you know, he had an injury. He came back. He was a little rusty. He went to the Blue in his third year. This is the third year he's touched the Blue program. Didn't say a word about it. Just put his head down, got to work, got himself back in rhythm, in, you know, game form, and up to his baseline, and then has built on that in his minutes since then. So I thought tonight was a byproduct of that body of work. He's capable of nights like this. We've seen him do that before, but, you know, he deserves a lot of credit for the track, you know, that it took to get him there. It's a very professional approach.
Mark, you mentioned that, you know, the way the Bucks scheduled over the past week and because of the ramifications of the Cup, how wild it is. Just, I don't know if we ever asked you, but do you have any strong opinion on the 82-game season and whether it should be reconfigured to less games or what other ideas might have been proposed?
No, I just think you have to, it's less about me having takes on it. It's more about being able to contextualize a game like this where they're just, you know, sitting a bunch of players, understanding, you know, if you're in their shoes and you look at the schedule that they had coming into this game and the schedule they have coming out of it, you know, nobody's walking the ball up the floor in the NBA anymore. These are fast games, and the schedule stacks up. You know, we have a really condensed schedule. We were fortunate tonight to take care of business and keep the minutes where we kept them because if you look at our schedule going into All-Star break, we got 7 more games in a very short period of time. And, you know, like I said, it's less about the 82 to me. It's more the Cup. You know, that week condenses everything around it, and teams are still trying to work their way out of that.
I do want to ask about Adam Flagler because it does feel like he's had a few opportunities like this in late games, and that's a guy that clearly can score in the G League and loves to shoot and can shoot. It just feels like he's maybe had bad luck sometimes when he's been inserted. Like, what do you tell a guy like that when he, you know, gets inserted late and he goes 1 for 10?
Well, he's working on a small sample in the NBA minutes, which is why the Blue's so important. And we evaluate players in totality, you know. So what you guys see in the last 12 minutes of the game is not what we see. We see him in high-minute workouts. We see him do his work every day. We watch the Blue games. And his body work, all those guys' body work is really good. I was really impressed with Dylan Jones tonight. I thought his approach tonight coming off of his Blue assignment was exactly, you know, how we wanted him to approach the game. He's much sharper and more fundamental than he was a month ago. So those guys do a good work. Flags does good work. I do think those guys were exhausted. You know, I'm playing those guys 12 minutes. Doc and I both called timeouts in the first 4 minutes, so they go 7 straight minutes down the stretch with no subs and no stoppages. That's hard to do. So I'd chalk some of that up to fatigue as well.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep, thank you.
Shai, what'd you think of the first half of this game and just the kind of laser focus control of it that you guys had from the very start against a shorthanded team?
Yeah, they were undermanned. We took care of business, played the right way, played our game. Yeah, like tonight was like we were out there. We did our job and we're going home.
Looked like a layup line for you in the first quarter. Was that by design or just because Brooke and Lopez and those guys weren't there, you take advantage? How'd that work out?
Yeah, I just played my game and took what the defense gave me. I guess they didn't see the emphasis to, I guess, have a low man for some plays, so I tried to take advantage of it. But yeah, they play defense. I try to be aggressive, play my game, and from there, just let the game tell me what to do.
When you see some of the frontline guys out, does that kind of, it's 1 of 82, I realize, but does that take a little starch out for you, or does that matter at all to you?
Doesn't matter. Woke up this morning with the opportunity to compete. That's what I tried to do today from the jump. Yeah, that's all it pretty much comes down to. I can't control those things. Every day I wake up, I worry about the things that I can't control, and my effort and my energy and my play is one of them. So that's what I focus on.
Shai, we've talked a bunch this year about games like this where the other team is missing their head of the snake. These a good number of these games have ended like this in a blowout. I just wonder, obviously you've had an incredible season. Like, is there a part of you that prefers the rest by the third quarter? Do you want to play the rest of the third quarter into the fourth? Like, what are your emotions when you leave the game midway through the third?
I would like to play as much as I can. Like what I just said, like I wake up, come to the game to compete. Now coach makes the decision on how much he wants me to play, but I would like to play as much as I get the opportunity to.
Shai, sorry, this is unrelated to the game, but the pregame crowds for your watching warm-ups and the autograph session afterwards continues to grow. Why do you make it a point to do that?
I used to be a kid and wanted autographs, and I just think, like, if I had a chance to get Kobe Bryant's autograph, for example, like, as a kid, I'd do anything for it. So I try to take a few minutes to make some kids' dream come true.
This is a random question, but like, every player has a pretty regimented pregame routine. You do that for a solid 10 minutes every home game. Is that something you have to like build into your pregame routine?
It just became part of it.
Yeah.
And I feel like once I do it, and the group of kids, the group of people that come for tomorrow's game or the next game, they're coming with the expectation to get an autograph. So I try not to let them down, and then it just turned into a thing. You
mentioned Kobe, but is there any player that you got an autograph from as a kid that comes to mind?
Nah, none. I didn't really I never encountered an NBA player like up close. So nah, I don't have any.
Thanks.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Joel.
Shai, I do want to ask an unrelated question as well. I think dating back to like when JJ Redick was still a podcaster, he kind of put this idea out there that there's like this mystique about you league-wide, that among stars and superstars that people don't really have a good idea of who you are and what you're about. Is that intentional on your part? Do you like it being that way, this sort of mystery surrounding you?
Not really. Like I don't do it intentionally. I just live my life. I come to work every day. I hoop. I interact with my fans. I love my family. Call my friends. I do everything normal people do. I'm nobody special. I'm just like the rest of y'all for y'all wondering what I'm like.
Anybody else?
Thanks, guys.